Hello, my name is Przemysław Leśniewski and I'm a Quality Assurance Specialist in TADDM. On today's session, I would like to present an automated way of composing and tracking business applications that is currently being developed in the next version of TADDM. Today's presentation will be divided in a few points. First, I will show the difference between current approach of building applications found in versions 7.1 and 7.2 of TADDM and a new approach. I will also introduce some new management elements and concepts allowing to obtain automatization. And in the end, I will present how it's done on a live environment using a development build. In short, a business application is a subset of components discovered by TADDM and representing a logical and useful structure for the user. In order to build a business application in a current version of TADDM, user has to first of all identify all the components of its business application and add each of them using drag and drop method or MQL query. The picture on the right represents a business application topology where low-level components, represented in a grayed out area, are not currently visible in a business application topology and can only be added as members using MQL query method. What is more, in order to apply any changes, for example adding a new component to our business application, this process has to be repeated manually. After a fundamental changes and taking advantage of already existing capabilities, TADDM has been improved to ease the process of creating business application. From now on, only essential elements has to be specified. Elements such as a J2E application that is deployed on a web server that particularly provides a value to the owner of the business application. The rest of elements, taking advantage of TADDM capability, finding dependencies and relationships between objects, can be identified automatically and added to our business application. Whenever there is a change in environment and TADDM has it detected, our business application is automatically updated. For instance, if a new component item has been added to an environment and it has any kind of relation to a specific components of our business application, this component item will be also added to our business application. Let's have a look on the steps that are required to build a business application in both approaches. Using a grouping composer, administrator has to identify all the elements of our business application. In case of our already mentioned essential elements that unfortunately are not visible in a business application topology, nor from the drag and drop point, administrator has to use MQL query. The rest of the objects can be added one by one using drag and drop method. Once all the elements are added, our business application is complete. Enhancing this process requires from the user identification of only essential element, in this case J2E application, but has relations to all the other objects. Thanks to our processing engine that is automatically identifies all the relations and dependencies, all other objects are added automatically. A new approach consists of using a grouping pattern. Into a grouping pattern, user has to add a core component items, those most crucial elements of composition. Depending whether you are a business owner of an application, this would be, for example, a J2 application. Or, if you're an application administrator, a web server would be within your interest. At last, for a hardware owner, the most essential would be a computer system focus. Those elements can be added to our grouping pattern using a drag and drop method, or using MQL query, or as a new functionality using SQL query. To complete a grouping pattern, administrator has to decide on a direction of expansion. In a sense, decide what elements should be added to make my application rich in all the information I need. At last, grouping pattern can create either a business application, collection, or access collection. A new element, grouping pattern, is responsible for describing one or many compositions, depending on the rules it contains. So as a result of a processing engine reading our grouping pattern, many business applications, collections, or access collection can be produced. This, however, imposes a new additional feature that has to be applied for a grouping pattern: description of a name for our new compositions. A name can be a static name creating only one composition, or a dynamic name based on the component's attributes such as name and type, and creating multiple instances of a chosen composition. It's time to see how it's done in practice. I invite you for a demo session.